Well, here I am, Aireys Inlet on a beautiful autumn morning. Sun's out, and as you can see behind me, it is just absolutely sensational here this morning. So we're going to do a plein air painting, and I will walk you through my setup first, and then we'll get started painting. I'm going to paint the cliffs obviously behind me, with the lighthouse just poking through at the top. So should be a great day for painting. There's no wind, it's, about 15 degrees, sunny, perfect, nobody here. Thursday morning, absolutely nobody here, so it's a perfect morning for painting. So let's have a look at the setup and what we need to get started. Well, the first thing about the setup is finding the right spot to paint. As you can see, I'm down here on the beach, and the tide looks like it's going out, so that's no problem. We won't have to worry about that. Absolutely pristine this morning. You can see the other cliffs at the other side of the beach. This is just like a little hamlet here. It's ideal. But what I've done, I've come up towards these cliffs at the side here, just to get a bit of shelter from the wind, and found this nice rocky sort of ledge here that I'm going to set up on, and that'll give me a bit of a solid footing underneath my feet. But just be careful with those because they can be slippery, the rocks. So I have already slipped on those. That's what we're going to paint. It's going to be absolutely sensational. So the equipment, I always like to travel light. I've got my backboard, which I'll show you how that works in a moment, and on that I've got a disposable paper pallet which I just rip up and rip off the sheet and put it straight in the bin when I'm finished, so I don't have to worry about cleaning the pallet. I've got my bag here. Always travel lightly, light as I can. I'm going to be painting on these 8x10 MDF boards, so I've just put some white gesso on those. Just get those from the hardware store, so I've got a couple of those, 8x10 inches. Got some paper towel, which is obviously important, and brushes and things like that I'll show you in a moment. And then I've got my easel in this little kit here. So as you can see, I travel fairly light. Let me get set up and then I'll walk you through the rest of it. Okay, well, I'm all set up. Let's go and have a look at what we've got in our setup here. I've got the board there with my painting panel attached, and all I've done there is I've got some masking tape and wrapped it around my hand to double side it, stuck it on the back of the board, and then pushed that hard against the this board here. The only problem with having this big backboard is if the wind gets up, of course, can cause you a bit of trouble, but I generally like it. Got my rather messy already looking palette set up. Just go through the colours. I've got ultramarine blue, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, cadmium yellow, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, and down the bottom I've got some white. And yeah, as I said, already a little bit messy, but not to worry. Got my paper towel attached to the easel here, and a rubbish bag. Always important, I think, to leave it exactly how you found it, apart from a few footprints. So I always bring rubbish bags with me. Got a little pot here for it's got my terps in there to clean the brushes. And what I've done around the back here is I've used my bag with all, got my lunch and bits and pieces in there. Use that to weigh down the easel, just so if the wind does happen to pick up at all. I've got my brushes. Looks like we're all set to go. So let's make a start, shall we? Okay, so I'm at the stage where I've just really done a very basic drawing. I've just used some burnt sienna and started to rough it in. You can see here where I put the original, that rock there. I made it too big and in the wrong spot, so I've moved it over and made a smaller one. And I'm just getting in the that cliff right there where we're getting the dark. I've just got that in there. I've sort of made this second cliff face area a bit narrower, just a bit of artistic license, just so I can get some darks in on the right hand side. So got that in. So I think what we need to do now is start to block in some of the colours. I'll block in the darks first, and then I'll start on the sky and the water, and then we'll come back in and really focus in on the cliff details. So stick with us, we'll get underway. Okay, well, I've made a bit of progress with blocking it in. You can see I've got darks in this cliff here, and up where that sort of green grassy areas, bushes and so on, I've got that in. Then I've got the sky in with quite a light value. I might go in just a little bit darker at the top soon, and starting to work down into the water here, just blocking it in, and some, it's low. The tide's obviously on its way out because, as you can see, sort of over there now, you can see the rocks starting to appear in the water. So I've put in some foreground rocks, which is actually a good thing because that'll give us like a threshold to step over into the painting, and get some nice darks down on the right hand side here, and we'll get lots of light on this section here, as you can see, that middle one there catching all the light. Got a little bit of work to do to shape up this rock here, so I'm going to just start blocking in some of the rocks now, and then we'll come back in and start looking at everything and working out what details we need to pull together. Well, I'm making good progress here. We're at that stage where I've got most of the major shapes in now, and do need to speed up a little bit because the tide is rushing out at the moment, but we'll work with that. So I've got everything pretty well blocked in. I'm going to start pulling things together in the next segment, and we will then start working on some of the details and hopefully end up with a reasonably good result. Okay, starting to pull together some details now with the painting. You can see I've got some of the foam in for the waves and starting to tidy up around the shoreline there. Got the little lighthouse in, but the sun is in a position now where it's just getting below the cliff that I'm set up next to, and my board is starting to get into shade, which is a bit of a problem. So I need to work a lot faster now and get this finished, and otherwise my whole board will be in shadow and be forced to move, and then it'll be a different angle. So once again, it just goes to show you how important it is to work fast when you're working plein air. The other thing is the tide's come right out now, and the shadows, particularly on the rock face over there, have become a lot more accentuated, so need to keep working fast. Okay, back to it. Well, this is pretty much the finished painting. I don't think I can do a lot more here, maybe a little bit more detail in the main cliff with the lighthouse on it, but light's changing, too much shadow now, and pretty much time to pack up and head home. And I'll take some photos and maybe paint this up in the studio at a later date. There's my messy palette and all the gear, and that's what we've been painting. It's been an absolute joy to paint it. I hope this video has helped you to learn some ideas about plein air painting. Cheers for now.